Welcome to another journalnow.com high school football video. My name is Joe Serrera, and I am joined this week by Todd Willert, head coach of the 2018 and 19 Class 4A state champion East Forsyth Eagles. And you've got a big game on Friday night with Reagan. Good to have you, Coach.
Hey, thanks for having me. I appreciate everything you do for high school sports. No doubt you're the best there is.
And I didn't pay you to say that, right?
No money at all. But I know I really am. You're working at both sides, and us football coaches and everybody really appreciate it.
Well, it's a great high school sports community in the Triad, and I appreciate all the help and support I get. You're 3-0 this season. You're number one in the journalnow.com coaches poll. You pretty much dominated the three teams you played. There's always things you could do better. Northwest Guilford, Rollsville, South Iredell. What have you learned about your team in those three games?
We've been a little banged up after the Roseville game, so we had a lot of different names playing on the other Friday night against South Iredell. So I think we're building a little bit of depth. We found some guys that I think that can help us on Friday nights. But we've also learned we got a long ways to go. We got to fix a lot of things. And now getting into this, the conferences of death, as you have quoted it, which I think is very accurate. Yeah. We got to get a lot better in order to get through this conference.
I know you want to win it, obviously, every game you play, and you want to win by as much as you can within reason. Do you wish you'd had a tighter game going into the conference, or do you think the conference, the Central Piedmont, will take care of itself that way?
Well, I know the conference will take care of that. We'll have a bunch of close games. So I'm glad maybe I didn't have them, because I know I probably have about 5 or 6 here coming up, 7, because our conference is crazy any given night. Kind of the South Iredell game kind of helped us a little bit. It was 17-7. I think we weren't too focused, maybe coming off the bye week and then some of the craziness that happened in our county. We didn't have a lot of practices. And I think we came out with a different attitude, obviously, in the second half. And so maybe we got a wake-up call there. I definitely can tell you this. We cannot come out slow like we did last week against Reagan, because it won't be good for us, because Reagan's a great team. There's no doubt. They've gotten a lot better since spring also.
You're averaging 54 points a game through 3 games. That's pretty strong offense. What's been working well offensively for the Eagles, and what do you still want to improve on and tweak?
I think that the big thing is we have so many weapons. If you look at our box scores, a lot of times we'll have a couple guys with 2 touchdowns, but a lot of times we'll have 5, 6, 7 different guys scoring a game. And that's great. We have a lot of guys on this roster that at any given time can take it 80 yards to the house. The only thing I think that's been great is our special teams unit has been very good. Coach James Studevant coaches our kick return, and they've set us up with a lot of short fields when teams do kick off. Our punt return team has gotten better. We're actually catching punts this year and return them. So I think that helps too. So shortening those fields for our offense definitely helps Coach Horton and Coach Vaughn when they're calling the offense.
You mentioned special teams play. You guys have one of the best kickers around in Andrew Conrad. How comforting is it to know that you're within field goal range with him pretty much when you get to maybe the 30-35? It's
comforting as a head coach, and it's comforting for my OCs. I know Coach Horton will be the first one to tell you it's nice to know that you got a kicker that you can get points once you get to a certain area. And then he does our kickoffs, puts it to the end zone. So Coach Beal, our defense coordinator, will tell you he loves it, because he knows a team's got to go 80 yards almost every time against us. And then he does our punting. He had 2 punts. He averaged over 44 yards a punt against South Iredell, and both of those were inside the 10. So, yeah, he does it all. It's a great weapon to have in high school football.
Yep. Your team giving up a little over 13 points a game. What are you happy with on that side of the ball, and where do you still need to work some there?
I'm very happy with the way our defense has gone so far. We got to make sure we get off the field on third down. There's some times I think Coach Beal and Coach Maxwell, our defensive guys, would even say that we got to get off the field on third down. Our linebacker coach, Drew Wicker, preaches that to his linebackers. We can't let the offense get another set of downs. And that's something we're really focused on. And we want to get more takeaways. You know, our defense flies around, but we want to get more takeaways, fumbles, interceptions. So those would be the two main areas we're focused on right now.
You had to play a lot of young guys in the spring. They grew up. Who among that group of youngsters is kind of taking that next step and you know, shown the maturity that they gained and the experience that they gained?
Well, offensively, obviously, Jalen's done a great job. Our quarterback, Jalen Raynor, he's night and day, no doubt about it. Throwing him into the fire as a sophomore, playing a lot of big games in the spring, I think that's calmed him down a lot. Defensively, R.J. Brown was great as a sophomore, but I think he's a lot more relaxed. And Chris Joins, another one of our sophomores who's now a junior DB, I think that's kind of helped him. And then we got these running backs that, you know, we got about 4 or 5 of them that had to play as a committee, and they're still playing. Jamon and Trey and Fish and Porter, all those guys, you know, they've all stepped up. So just excited that we had that chance in the spring, that these kids got to grow up, and it is definitely helping us right now in the fall.
With that many talented playmakers that you've got on that side of the ball, how do you keep them all happy? How do you feed all those guys, especially when you've had some short fields too?
Yeah, it's just a mentality here. You know, we have a lot of people try to say, hey, you'll never be the man at East Forsyth. You know, not that there's recruiting going on, but I'm just saying they use that against us a little bit. But we buy into the system. If you look at our 18 and 19 state championship teams, we shared the ball then too. I mean, that's every great team. You have to share the ball. If you count on 1 or 2 guys, you get to that final level of the top 8 teams in the state, they can shut you down. So you got to have these weapons. And our guys are happy for each other. If you watch our wide receivers, they block for each other. They block for our running backs. We don't have fullbacks. Our running backs know that if they're going to be a running back, you got to be H-back or a fullback, and you got to block. And when it's your time to get the ball, you get the ball, and they're happy. And I think in the end, it creates a bond. You know, it really does. They want to play for each other, and that's a great thing about it. They want to play for each other. They try to knock out the outside noise, and maybe their fans or some of them saying, oh, you need to get the ball more, this and that. How about when you get the ball, you just score? Trey Ingram's carried the ball like 7 times, and he's got 2 runs over 70 yards. He's going to take advantage. But, you know, Trey Ingram's probably the best teammates you could have. He reminds me a lot of Christian Beal. Christian Beal wanted to block more, and he wanted to carry the ball for us at East Forsyth. And I can go on. Amani Marshall, you know, Robin Smith. That's the way we brought our running backs up, and it works out great for us. And if you're willing to buy into the system, you're going to be successful here.
Well, and you're probably going to be fresh when the defense is tired in that second half and been worn down by some of your teammates, and you're going to be ready to break through that line and go because you're fresh.
There's no doubt about it. I mean, our legs are fresh, and you create that depth. And if someone gets banged up a little bit, you know, Jaquan Porter didn't play much this last game, so the next guy stepped up. I mean, it helps you in the long run. And our receiving core is the same way. You know, Stokes was out this last game, so we had to have some other guys step up, Winfrey and Payne, some guys you don't even know of. And then obviously we got Q Brown, who's outstanding. And then Trey went to some wide receivers. So it just everybody gets to play, and everybody gets to touch a little bit of the rock.
This week, you got a Reagan team that comes to your place at 1-2. They're not a 1-2 football team. I think you would definitely agree with that. They were up 12-0 on Grimsley at halftime. They played a really good Myers Park team down in Charlotte and hung with them. What do you see when you watch that Raiders team?
They're explosive. Josh McGee, Coach McGee is doing a great job on the offense side of the ball. But I think one of the big things you see is their defense is very aggressive. A lot of times in the past, the Reagan defense might not have been like that. I think their defense is very good. They got some great D linemen. I think they got some great skill guys in the back. So that really steps out to you how much their offense has always been really good. And to see their defense kind of being good, I think that's one of the major upgrades. I mean, when you can slow down a Myers Park or a Grimsley, obviously you got to look at their defense.
What do you guys need to do Friday night to be 1-0 in the Central Piedmont Conference?
We got to protect the ball. We got to come out right away and play. We can't wait till the second half to play. And we can't have turnovers, and we have to create some on them. And at the end of the day, we have to win the third down battle. We didn't convert a third down against South Iredale. If we don't do that against Reagan, we'll be in trouble. And we got to get Reagan off the field on third down. Makes
sense. It's a big game on Friday night. I know WMYV is showing it, 7:35 kickoff, a few minutes later to accommodate the TV people. But anyone who can get out to the Nest, that's the place to be Friday night in Forsyth County, or watch it on TV. Coach Willert, thank you for your time, and good luck to your team Friday night moving forward.
Hey, thanks for everything you do, Joe. I appreciate it.